Yo guys, what's up? Russ here with the final episode of going through my comic book collection. This is episode 12 and will be the last. And once this is done, my entire collection will be cataloged right here on YouTube. All these videos are in one playlist for anybody that wants to go back and check out the other episodes. But let's get into this. I have a couple oversized books, some top-loaded books, and my CGC box. I'm going to start with the oversized books. And I'm kicking it off with a banger here. This is a treasury-sized comic. And to give you an idea, like the size difference between these, for those that happen to not have treasuries, I'm going to take the backing board out because this has an awesome back cover on it. Check that out. Superman and Spider-Man. And I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this was like the first Marvel and DC crossover. Picked this up at Heroes Con a couple years ago. Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man. Awesome book. This is one that I wanted in my collection for years. And back in the 90s, I had the reprint. It was like just a normal size comic with like a gold border all the way around it. So back in the day, I read it through reprint form. So it's so cool to actually have the actual treasury size book in my collection. Picking it off here with another book that's a slightly oversized. This is an Australian edition of a Superman comic. And this is slightly bigger than a normal comic as well. So I couldn't find a top loader for it. It's put out by Planet Comics, and it did come from Australia, which is awesome. I have a news time here with the life and death of the Man of Steel, A World Without Superman. It's cool because it's got like a printed name here, and it actually says addressed to Clark Kent in Metropolis, which is pretty cool, man. I dig that. All right, now getting into the top-loaded books. We've got the Amazing Spider-Man 121, which you guys saw when I held it up for the size comparison. And we have Amazing Spider-Man 122, The Death of Gwen Stacy, and The Death of Green Goblin. Awesome set here. This is another one that took me a long time to get in my collection. I found this one like at a comic shop for, I think I got it for 40 bucks. Pretty beat up. So eventually I might try to upgrade it if I can find a little bit of a better copy, but for now, just glad to have these books in my collection. Here's another great one. This one was actually an AOK from a friend of mine, Tricks Comics. It's Captain America 109 from the Silver Age, a retelling of Cap's origin story. One of my all-time favorite covers here. Some just awesome Jack Kirby goodness on this cover. Love this book. This was another grail of mine that I picked up at Heroes Con. It's Marvel Premiere 15. The origin and first appearance of Iron Fist, who, in my opinion, just doesn't get nearly enough love on the on TV or the big screen. I would love to see this character come back. I'm probably one of the few that actually liked the Netflix Iron Fist show, especially the way it ended in season 2. I felt like that was setting up something bigger, and it just never happened because those shows got canceled. So I'm hoping to see Iron Fist come back, either on the small screen or the big screen soon. Have Avengers or king size annual words. Avengers king size annual 10. The first appearance of one of my favorite characters, Rogue. This was a book that I had a hard time getting a hold of. I was actually looking at 9.8 slabs of this book several years ago, and I saw one for I think like 150, and I thought I'll just wait to see if it comes down a little more, and then like some speculation hit that Rogue might be in the next Captain Marvel movie, and that book in a 9.8 just shot through the roof. That movie came and went. There was never a Rogue appearance in it. So it's probably come down some since, but I got this awesome reader copy for like 25 bucks, and just I'm happy to have this in my collection. This next one is X-Men Schism, issue 1, and the reason this isn't a top loader is because it was a blank cover, and Kenny, Comic Cat 84, actually drew this cover, so this is like a one of one here. Some awesome art from a great community member. Love that. And here's just another, like, one of my favorite Road covers. It's Women of Marvel 1. Had to pick this up when I saw this cover. I don't think it's a very expensive book, so it probably doesn't need to be in a top loader, but there you go. And okay, we just have a Rogue art print here mixed in with the books. Well, here's a good one. We have New Teen Titans issue 39. This was the last appearance of Dick Grayson as Robin and Wally West as Kid Flash. And jumping up a few issues, we have Tales of the Teen Titans 44, the first appearance of Dick Grayson as Nightwing. Awesome book right here. And I believe it's also the first appearance of this character, Jericho. Could be wrong on that, not 100% sure. Here's a couple books I got in an extremely generous AOK several Christmases ago from my buddy Matt, the boy who had 7. And it's Secret Wars issue 8. And Amazing Spider-Man 300, the first appearance of Venom. This is a book I didn't really think I'd ever get in my collection. And Matt, yeah, he hooked me up huge. And this one was an AOK from Steve Whiting. It's Amazing Spider-Man 361, the first Carnage. Another awesome character. These next 2 books I got at Heroes Con, and actually did a trade for these. I traded my I can't even remember the issue number now, but it was Avengers, the first appearance of Vision. I think it was issue 57. I can't remember right offhand, but I traded that book for these 2. I have Superman 233, Kryptonite Nevermore, and Superman 199, the first race with the Flash. I still need to get the other all the other races in my collection if I can one day. But 2 awesome books right here in really good shape. That was an awesome trade. Here's another great one, Action Comics issue 340, the first appearance of Parasite. That was another Heroes Con pickup. And here is the oldest book in my entire collection. This was an AOK from Covey Comics NYC, now known as Panels, Pages, and Pixels. But it's Action Comics 57 from 1943. Most likely as close as I'll ever get to Superman's first appearance. And another cool thing about this book is I believe it's only the third appearance of Lois Lane on a cover, which is really cool. But as of now, oldest book in my entire collection. And honestly, every time I hold it and look at it, I just feel like I'm holding a piece of Superman history. Love that. This is another book that came from my buddy Covey. It's Superman issue 1. But what makes this one special is it's actually signed by John Byrne on the first interior page. And I believe it's the only book I have that has a John Byrne signature on it, which is awesome. I loved his work on Superman. It was very cool to have his signature. And right here is the oldest Batman book in my collection. It's the Batman issue 136. Picked this up at a local shop. Just a great early Silver Age Batman book. And I think I picked it up for $20. But like the whole, like the back page, there's a ton of ads and stuff cut out in it. But I still wore this book in my collection. I think it's my only Silver Age Batman book. I could be wrong on that. I think I am wrong. I do have another Silver Age Batman book. That's right. But this is the earliest Batman in my collection. Awesome Joker cover on that. Here's another one I picked up at a local shop, trying to get some cool Iron Fist books. And here we have Power Man and Iron Fist issue 50. And this was the first issue where they changed the title to Power Man and Iron Fist. Previously, it was just Power Man. There's a couple more issues I plan to look for at Heroes Con. I want to get issues 48 and 49 to go with 50. I believe 48 is the first meeting between Iron Fist and Luke Cage. And then 49 continues the story. And then here in issue 50, they officially changed the name of the book. Here's another great AOK I got from the community. This one came from Bub's World. It's Superman issue 78, signed and numbered to 10,000 by Dan Jurgens. Bubs was kind enough to send this my way. Even had a clear backing board in it. This one I picked up from my buddy Nate, Tricks Comics, when he was selling some books. It's Tomb Raider Witchblade, issue 1. This is the first appearance of Lara Croft in comics and is signed by the late great Michael Turner. Love this book, love this cover, man. First Lara Croft in comics. Here's one that my buddy JPL Flash sent my way. It's Booster Gold issue 1, the origin and first appearance of Booster Gold, an original character created by Dan Jurgens himself. I might take this one to Heroes Con with me this year and get it signed by Dan Jurgens. I saw he was on the guest list again. Yo, what's up, Spidey? I didn't see you pop in, brother. I take it you want to see some early Silver Age Spider-Man, and I don't have any Silver Age Spider-Man, but I do have some Spider-Man here, and that's Web of Spider-Man issue 1. That's probably right up your alley. And speaking of Spider-Man here, I have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 410, an awesome Spider Carnage cover. I did show some earlier Spider-Man issues 121 and 122 earlier. Here's another cool Golden Age book, Little Al of the FBI. I believe this one came from Night Tiger. Or it might have been Meta. I think this one was Metarog, and this one came from Night Tiger. Crime Does Not Pay. Just a couple cool Golden Age books. Here we have Shazam issue 1. Another awesome book that came from my buddy Matt. As well as issue 2. He sent both of these my way with Secret Wars 8 and Amazing Spider-Man 300. And here's Shazam issue 3. I picked this one up at a local comic shop for like super cheap, just $2 or $3. Great cover on this one. And here's another book that came from Kenny, Comic Kid 84. This was another one that he, a blank cover that he drew a sketch on. Got Scarlet Witch in the house. Then we have New Teen Titans issue 23. It's a cover I know Simple Simon would appreciate because it's a bondage cover, but it's the first appearance of Starfire's sister, Blackfire. And last up for the top-loaded books. Yo, what's up, FBP? Putting in your hours. Last in for the top-loaded books before I move on to the CGC box. My all-time favorite Wonder Woman cover. It's issue 72. Some Brian Boland goodness. This was a book I tried to find for years, and every time I ran across it, the cover would be dirty or messed up. But I finally found a great copy at Heroes Con with a nice clean cover at like a super affordable price. Like if I wasn't afraid of needles, I would get this picture of Wonder Woman tattooed on my back. All right, now we're moving into the CGC box here. Just got out of work. Yeah, I know I was gonna wait till later, but I've been awake all night, and I figure when I go to sleep, I'm just gonna be out all day, and I won't get up and do this later. So I figured I would hit it early. All right, kicking it off with Captain America 111. Awesome Steranko cover here. And this one was actually an AOK from Unruly Simeon a few years back. Another one of my all-time favorite Captain America covers. Couldn't believe it when he sent this my way. This next one was a grail of mine that I never thought I'd get in my collection, but I finally pulled the trigger on it. It was either 2019 or early 2020 when I finally got this book in my collection, but it's all new, all different X-Men 101, the first appearance of Phoenix. It's 5.0 off-white pages, but so glad to have this in my collection. Took me like 4 months, I think, to pay it off when I finally got it. Got a bunch of X-Men coming up here. This is the whole Dark Phoenix storyline. This storyline took me the better part of 3 years to finally complete because I could only get a little bit at a time because these books were kind of pricey. So it's like I said, it took me like 3 years to put all these together, but I finally did it. Kicking it off with Uncanny X-Men 129. This is the first appearance of Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost, and it kicks off the Dark Phoenix storyline. Then we have Uncanny X-Men 130. This one is a 7.0, and it's the first appearance of Dazzler. There were a lot of keys in this like Dark Phoenix Saga collection. So man, I was so happy when I finally got this whole set put together. Here we have Uncanny X-Men 131. Awesome Emma Frost cover on this one. Got this one at 8.5. We got Uncanny X-Men 132. Trying to angle it so it don't like have the super glare on it. We got Uncanny 133. We got Uncanny X-Men 134. This is the first appearance of Dark Phoenix. And this one happens to be at 9.4. When I was first looking at this book to pick it up, I was looking at like 6s and 7.0s. And out of nowhere, Daymare's A.O. gave me this book in a 9.4. I couldn't believe it. It's incredible. If I would have picked this one up, it would be a super low grade copy because this one was definitely a more pricey book in the collection. Here we have Uncanny X-Men 135, and this is a book that took me a while to find in the grade that I wanted. I picked up an 8.0 white pages, and the reason I wanted the 8.0 specifically is because this book actually came out July 1980. That's my birthday book. That was the year and month I was born. So I really wanted it in an 8.0, 80 to match the 1980, and I finally found one, man. Awesome cover too, by the way. Got Uncanny X-Men 136. Yo, what's going on, Ranger? How you doing today, man? Hopefully you're having a good one. Dark Phoenix Saga is one of my all-time favorite X-Men storylines. Yo, what's up, Simon? How you doing, man? You came for the wrestling figures and the clickbait titles? Here we have Uncanny X-Men 137. Oh, without doubt, Dark Phoenix Saga, so great. I actually have a trade paperback of it. over there mixed in with the comic boxes, and that's how I maybe every 3 4 months I'll flip through it and read it again. Here we have Uncanny X-Men 138, Cyclops leaving the group there, distraught over the death of Jean. We got Silver Surfer issue 34. Just an awesome Thanos cover here. This was a birthday gift, gosh, at least 4 years ago now, I think, from a friend. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man 400. Picked this up. I was flipping through eBay one night, 2018, 2019, and I saw this in a 9.8 for $40, and nobody else bid on it. So I figured, why not? And I ended up winning the book at $40. Sadly, this is the cover that you can't really see, but it is embossed. There's another cover that's much better, and you can barely see it in person, so you definitely can't see it, but there is like an embossed Spider-Man on the cover. Oh, no doubt. Silver Surfer was awesome back in the 90s. That's where I first started reading Surfer, early to mid 90s. Got Superman 75 and a 9.8 signed by Dan Jurgens. This was like a Grail book pickup for me a few years back. I really wanted to get this in a 9.8 and have it signed, and I managed to find like a crazy good deal on eBay. Have a Catwoman issue 1 from I believe 1993. All-time favorite version of Catwoman's costume here. Love that cover. Love the What If issue when Surfer got the Infinity Gauntlet. Man, I've never got to read that. I've got the actual Infinity Gauntlet in trade paperback form. I don't have the single issues of that. But I used to love the What If stories, but I never got the one with Surfer and the Gauntlet. I bet that was awesome. Third printing of Death of Superman, nice. I started collecting in '93. So when I first started collecting, I had just missed the death storyline. I started with Reign of Superman, which is why those books are on my wall back there. Those are the actual ones I had from when I was a kid. So I didn't know the whole death of storyline arc happened until I started reading the Reign of Superman. Then I went back into the back issues and tracked down all those that I could. Got in 92. Awesome. It was What If issue 50. I'm gonna have to look for that. Here's one I picked up a few years ago off eBay, and there's a weird story behind this one. I wasn't even looking for this book. I was looking to pick up X-Men issue 4, the first appearance of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And I was saving up for that book and saving up for it, and I found like a 1.0 for close to $600. And I was getting close to picking it up. And dang, if the stupid wash machine didn't tear up, and I had to take that money and put it toward a new washing machine. And so I started the saving cycle again, trying to save back up. Some speculation hit, and that same 1.0 went from like almost 600 to a little over 1,000. So it was like no way I was going to get that book, because at that point I had only saved back up like 150. So I was kind of depressed, and I was scrolling eBay, and I saw this book for $143, and man, it jumped out at me, and it just cheered me right up. It's Superman 123 from 1958, and this was the first prototype appearance of Supergirl. This Supergirl didn't have a name other than Supergirl. I actually read the story digitally after I found this book, and she was wished into existence by Jimmy Olsen, and she had all the powers of Superman, but she didn't have the experience, so she kept like screwing up. So she went to Jimmy by the end of the issue, and she asked to be wished back out of existence. So they did that. She was only ever in this one issue, and then like almost a year later, they came out with the Kara Zor-El Supergirl in Action Comics 252. Now that book is way more of a high dollar book than this one. So that one I'll probably never get in the collection, but I have the prototype appearance, which is just awesome. I picked up Miss Marvel issue 1 a few years ago in like a 5.0. This was another book I was looking for, and I was actually going to get a raw copy, and I found this 5.0 for about the same price as the raw copy, so I figured why not go ahead and pick up the slab. Here's a book that was a gift from a friend of mine. It's Legends of the World's Finest, issue 1. And it's actually, let's see, who was the signature? Dan Britton signed the book on the interior page. Awesome cover on this one. And a cool back cover. Got a Fantastic Four issue 45. It's the first appearance of Lockjaw and the Inhumans. And Black Bolt makes a cameo appearance on the back page, or close to the back page, I think. Picked this up in a 2.0 a few years back. I still need to pick up a low grade copy of issue 46. Got Uncanny X-Men 244. This is another super cheap one I found on eBay. I think I got it for 35 or 40 bucks. It's Uncanny X-Men 244, the first appearance of Jubilee. And see, the next three actually won these in a YouTube giveaway from Comic Books NYC, like, oh my gosh, at least 5 years ago now. But these are all Astonishing X-Men issue 1s with different covers. Have a good one, Simon. I've only got 2 more books in this box, and then I'll wrap this up. Jubilee's one of your favorite X-Men? Awesome. Jubilee, like, I don't know, for some, like, she gets a lot of disrespect and hate, and just people like clowning on Jubilee because of her powers. But for what I understand, like, in the last, I don't really read new comics that much, so I don't know how long ago it was. But sometime in the last few years, I heard that they made Jubilee like an Omega level mutant. The first appearance of Legion. Awesome. Here we have Action Comics 688. There's nothing real special about this book. I have the actual copy of 688 up on the wall, but it's got like some sentimental value to me. So I picked it up in a slab as well. This was the first comic book I ever picked up and read and bought when I was, it came out in 93, so I would have been 13. It actually came out early July, so I had just turned 13 when this book came out. And I just thought it'd be cool to have the first comic I ever read in a slab. That's awesome. Superman is just probably my all-time favorite character. I'm actually rocking the Superman shirt right now. And it's like I first got exposed to the character. I think I was 6 or 7 years old, and I saw the Christopher Reeve Superman movie for the first time. And it was still years later because I didn't get my first comic till I was 13. But like Superman is what started me out on this journey, and I've just always stayed a fan. Last up, I have the Savage She-Hulk issue 1 in a 9.6. I picked this up back in 2018, and one of my goals back then was to get a slab comic book, and this was the very first slab I ever bought back in 2018. And I thought, well, I'll just get one, and that'll be it. And then that sent me down a rabbit hole of just buying slabs. So now I got like a box full of slabs. But this was the one that it was also like the first like bigger book I ever bought too. Actually, I think I got it for $100 at the time, which it's probably still only worth that now. But I don't really buy books for value. I just buy them because I like the characters. I've never tried to like resell anything. But that was the book that got me hooked on slabs for a while. I don't really buy slabs much anymore. I probably haven't bought a slab in a couple of years. I mostly stick to raw books now, but occasionally, if there's a book I really love, I'll try to get a slab. But that does it for episode 12. And that completely catalogs my entire collection of comics. I have all these videos in a playlist if anybody wants to check them out. And the first 4 episodes were all Superman books, like those first 4 short boxes. Because that was like, for the first year I collected, it was only Superman. Then I branched out into Batman and eventually X-Men and Spider-Man. Well, it's funny because it was the X-Men and Spider-Man animated series that got me into those comics and got me to branch out more. Appreciate that. I appreciate you hanging out. And everybody that hung out in the chat, because that makes these streams so much better when I have people to like interact with and talk to that love the same things. Yep, definitely another huge Superman fan right there, Fanboy Prime. But yeah, it makes it like way better doing these streams, just hanging out with people and talking about this like-minded stuff. But I will catch everybody in the next video. Not sure when that'll be. I am going to try to stream more often. I don't like that was the point of doing these comic book streams, to get me back in the hang of streaming again. So I will definitely come up with another series to do some live streams with. Until then, I'll catch everybody next time. Peace and keep it 9,000.